Change doesn't always come in sweeping moments of revelation. Sometimes it begins in the quiet, unassuming spaces within us. And yet, the ability to change the world lies within us all. It starts with something that we may not realize is at our fingertips: the power of empathy. A simple but profound concept, one that has the ability to shift the course of history, one individual at a time. Imagine this. There's a moment when you share in the joy of someone close to you, when their happiness becomes yours. You don't just hear their laughter. You feel it deep within you. That connection, that emotional resonance, is more than just a shared experience. It's empathy, the unspoken understanding between two souls. And there's something more, something that turns empathy into action, into compassion. Compassion isn't just the feeling. It's the spark that ignites a drive to do something, anything, to ease someone else's suffering. You see, we, as human beings, are built for connection. Our survival has always depended not on solitary strength, but on the bonds we share with others. Think back to the earliest tribes, where cooperation meant survival. We survived because we understood one another, we relied on empathy, and from that empathy, compassion was born. But what happens when we lose sight of that? When we forget how to truly connect? Here's where it gets compelling. Our brains, incredibly wired for connection, process rejection and emotional pain with the same intensity as physical injury. Whether it's the sting of being isolated or the sharp pain of a loved one lost, our brain responds with a visceral intensity. It's no wonder, then, that in a world where technology often replaces face-to-face connection, we've seen an increase in isolation, loneliness, and emotional numbness. But we can shift this. We can consciously foster empathy in our daily lives, and it all begins with a simple shift in perspective. One way to do this is through a powerful framework developed by Helen Reese, an expert in empathy research. She's created an acronym to help us understand how we can be more present, more attuned, and ultimately more connected with others. Let's break it down. The first key is eye contact. Look someone in the eyes, and you acknowledge them. In that moment, you send a silent message. I see you. This simple act of recognition is powerful. In the Zulu tribe, they greet each other with the word Saubna, which means I see you. It's a reminder that connection begins the moment we acknowledge the humanity in others. Next, we have the muscles of facial expression. By tuning into the subtle cues someone gives us through their facial expressions, we understand more than what words can convey. A furrowed brow, a smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. These nonverbal signals reveal a deeper story about how someone is truly feeling. Then there's posture, a mirror of inner states. The way someone carries themselves, whether they're open and welcoming or withdrawn and defensive, can tell us everything we need to know about their emotional state. This awareness can guide us in how we approach or give space to others. Now let's talk about the effect. The emotions we observe in others are not just for recognition. They are an invitation to connect. The more in tune we are with someone's emotional state, the more we engage with them on a level that goes beyond words. It's a silent, mutual understanding that forms the core of compassion. Tone of voice is another critical element. The way something is said, soft, sharp, trembling with emotion, communicates far more than the words themselves. It's the feeling beneath the words that resonates most deeply. We've all heard it. The voice quivering on the verge of tears, or the edge of anger that seems to crack the surface of a calm demeanor. This is where listening becomes an art, not just hearing the words, but feeling their weight. Then we come to the concept of hearing the whole person. It's about more than just the spoken word. It's about picking up on the unspoken, the pauses, the silence, the space between the lines. This is where active listening comes into play. It's a skill that allows us to understand the full context of someone's reality, to see them as they truly are, without judgment. And finally, your response. How you reflect the emotional energy of the other person is crucial. When you look into someone's eyes and mirror their warmth, it's not just a reaction, it's a connection. It's the emotional dance that happens when two people are truly attuned to each other. Compassion is the direct result of this empathy, and it ripples outward in ways we often don't fully comprehend. As the Dalai Lama once said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. When we act with compassion, we inspire others to do the same. We create a collective energy, one that builds, one that spreads. It's human nature to connect, to help, to build together, and to be better together. Now, take a moment to reflect. Can you recall a time when you practiced empathy? Maybe a friend confided in you about a personal loss, or a family member shared their struggles. How did you respond? How did that connection make you feel? And how did your actions, however small, create a sense of relief or comfort for them? Think about it. Each small act of empathy is like a pebble thrown into a pond. The ripples expand, creating waves that affect everyone they touch. What if we all made the conscious effort to be more empathetic? What could that change in the world around us? The possibilities are limitless. The only question left is, what will you do today to make your mark?